Good morning, good afternoon, social media friends, business partners, and many of you who I am benefiting from connecting with you. Welcome to today's episode where I have asked one of my connections, a close friend and a client, attorney Melinda Malecki, to join us today. So let me invite her into the studio so that you guys can see her. And we're going to get to learn more about her and her business today. Mindy,
Bill,
how are
hi.
you?
Hi, thanks for inviting me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I am honored that you have shared some of your time with me today, late in the day, because I know you're a very busy woman. You juggle a lot of things at the same time. And by the
Not
way,
too busy for you,
ah,
ever.
and one thing I know is women, unlike men, they are innately able to juggle many things at the same time. So
That's true. Yes,
applause to you. Applause
that's
to you.
true. Hmm.
So, if I may lead off with this first question, Mindy. For as long as I've known you, I know you as attorney Mindy Melinda Malecki, but specifically, you've got a very niche, interesting practice. And fast forward to now, your practice bears the name of yourself and one of your partners, MB Health Law, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Can you
Right.
share with us what led you to build and grow your practice, MD Health Law?
Um, well, good question. I've been building this practice since 2001.
Okay.
I was an in-house attorney ever since law school, since 92, in-house hospital attorney. But I always wanted to have my own practice, honestly, on the side, because everybody who does what I do in-house knows that when there is a downsizing or hospitals sell or they merge or whatever happens in health systems, the in-house counsel is often the first to go.
Mm,
So I did develop my own practice back in 2001, and I've been keeping that practice going ever since then. Aileen Brooks and I, Malecki Brooks, is the latest iteration of this, and we've been together for 6 years.
yeah.
And, as you know, we represent physicians, healthcare providers, hospitals, nurses, in full scope for any legal services that they need.
Right, right. Um, so thank you for sharing that snippet of,
Hmm.
why you built up and are continuing to grow MB Health Law. So when you say physicians, by that, are you saying the typical physician that's running his or her own practice as well as like small groups?
Yes, we represent employed physicians, independent physicians, physician groups, and any other kind of healthcare provider, a nurse practitioner,
Wow.
um, anybody who, what we say, our slogans, for lack of a better word, is if you are a healthcare provider, we are your law firm,
Nice.
because we represent the individual.
Right.
And most firms don't. They will represent the institution.
Right.
We want to represent the individual.
Okay. And one of the things I think I know is you represent the individual for things such as like employment contracts
Yes,
and beyond that as well,
beyond
right?
that, yes. But
Yeah.
that is a large portion of our business, is
Okay.
the negotiation of employment agreements.
Okay. How
Mhm.
has how has the business of medicine, as it seems to be evolving over the past, I'll keep it snapshot, within the recent 10 years, how has it changed what your clients, the healthcare professionals, um, what they face and how they lean on you for your expert help?
Mhm. Well, 10 years ago, you would see more physicians who wanted to be independent, wanted to own their own practices.
Right,
But owning your own practice, as any other business, comes with all the headaches that are attached to that.
right.
And because the payers the insurance companies are so challenging. You know, you can bill for a certain amount of money, but you don't necessarily collect anywhere near that. That breed of physicians who wanted to be independent has diminished. And now we see the majority of physicians coming out of training who want to be employed. They want to be employed by a hospital or a large group. They don't want to set up their own shop. So that's the major thing that
Okay.
I've seen. But the way that translates over to us is that if you are going to be an employed physician, you want somebody who's negotiating your contract who really gets the whole big picture,
True.
because that contract is your asset.
True.
That's how you're going to be getting your money, your paycheck.
Right.
I'd
Right.
say that's the biggest thing I've seen.
Yeah, I would agree with you. On a side note, maybe one of my family members can and should be one of your future clients. My oldest niece, she just finished her first year of OB/GYN residency.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and as a matter of fact, I will introduce you to her.
Okay.
Maybe what I'll do is after today's episode, I may intentionally share this episode with her. Why? Because I've asked her to be a guest in a future episode coming up as well.
Well, as long as you mention that, you
Yeah,
know that I've been referring my clients to you for years, but in the last couple of years, you and I have had a discussion about mortgage products
yes,
for physicians who have employment agreements.
true.
And I believe we put that on our website. But when
Yeah,
I'm
you did.
talking to a physician,
Yeah,
I do say, you know, you want your contract to be the best it can, because a bank can look at this too, and they're going to see the same thing that I'm seeing and ask you these questions.
right.
So yes, there's crossover.
Yeah, yeah. You know, as in the Jerry Maguire movie, "Show me the money,"
Show
right?
me the money.
All,
Yes.
all banks wanna ask, "Show me your money before I lend you mine."
Yes. Show me the money. But the bank can look at the contract and say, well, what about this? What about that?
Absolutely.
They're going to see things that you wouldn't necessarily notice if you weren't reviewing contracts all the time.
Yeah, yeah. How has, the innovation of medical technology maybe transformed or disrupted medical professionals? Do you feel that they've had to adapt as well?
Yeah, I think the biggest adjustment that they've made, especially for the ones who are not coming out of training, is the adjustment to the electronic medical record.
Ah, yes.
Remember how everything used to be manual and you wrote out your notes and you had paper charts? No longer. Everything is electronic now. And that
Right.
was a big adjustment for especially older physicians to get used to.
Right.
The non-medical record technology, I think they welcome,
Okay.
the improvements in their specialties and the equipment that they can use. Everybody loves that. It's just that documentation is
Yeah.
pain, kind of a pain.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain. You
Yeah.
gotta document. You gotta know where to pull it up.
Yes. Now the younger ones, they have no problem. I mean, they're
Yeah.
doing things on their phone,
Yeah.
but I would have a problem adjusting to that. Yes.
It's almost as if, Mindy, it's almost as if just 2 weeks ago I saw my nieces on my wife's side of the family, and I said to a few of us at the family dinner table, "Hey, I need to get someone to help me learn how to create like TikTok videos." And so one of the family members pointed to one of our younger nieces and said, "Oh, ask Katie." And I'm like, "Go figure. It's always the young ones
The
that
young
can
ones know.
fast track you."
Yes. They totally know how to do it. Yes. It's
Too
almost
funny.
intuitive for them.
Yeah, for whatever
Mhm.
reason. Now, in terms of your growing MB Health Law, we now know, all of our audience members watching this episode know that who benefits from your help are healthcare professionals. What other professions are your BFFs, best friend forever,
Oh,
that refer you to those clients?
okay.
Yeah,
Financial planners,
makes sense.
bankers,
Yep.
insurance brokers.
Okay. Like malpractice insurance?
Yes, mostly professional liability,
Yes.
insurance brokers,
Okay.
accountants, it really, there are multiple areas that overlap with us. Marketing and strategic planning.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
In a way, it's almost like the dream team that a physician must depend on to not only start the business, but grow it, brand it, bring on employees and manage the growth of the business, right?
And, it's important to recognize that when you are starting a medical practice,
Okay.
you need to get that team together at the beginning.
Yeah.
We call it SWAT, start with a team.
Right.
But if you don't do that, if you just spring out into action
Yeah.
and think you're going to build it as you grow, you will spend a lot more money and have more headaches than if you organized it at the front. One thing I will say is, for a physician or an advanced practice nurse, anybody who's starting up a practice, the number one person they need to get on board first is the accountant.
Yeah.
Because often they'll call us and say, what kind of entity should I set up? Should I set up an LLC? What should I do? Those are frequently financially driven, tax driven questions.
Right.
And if you don't get an accountant on board who knows how cash flow works in a medical practice, you'll spend a lot of money and waste time. So you're right. We try to encourage people to get everybody together at the beginning. There's an article on our website, MB Health Law, called SWAT, Start with a Team.
Okay.
Worth reading if you're setting up a business.
Okay. And just to reinforce what you shared with us, the website for MB Health Law is, audience members, mbhealthlaw.com.
Right.
You can Google search it. It'll come up very easily. So
Yeah.
thank you for reminding me of that. So Mindy, when you're not busy as chief legal counsel at a hospital or medical center and running MB Health Law, what other activities require your attention and time?
Well, I'm a grandmother, and I have two little grandchildren, 5 and 1.
I've seen
So I
them.
spend as much of my free time as I can with them. And I'm a big dog lover, animal lover. So I'm on the board of an animal shelter, and I have 3 dogs myself at home. I'm about to get another one on Saturday. So that takes up some of my time as well.
Wow.
So between those two, and I have, I like to visit my friends, and
Sure.
I keep busy.
Yeah.
I keep busy. I can't, I'm happy. I have no complaints.
Yeah.
But those are my activities.
Yeah.
No, Bill, how exercising was not on that list.
Hey, exercise is overrated.
Exercising and moving.
Yeah.
I need to change that.
Moving is disruptive. Moving can be stressful. But you know what, Mindy? If you're about to pull the trigger on getting a 4th furry addition to your family, kudos to you. Guess how many I have?
How many? 3?
3. I will offline. I will text you pictures of them. Okay. And it's funny because just the other day, my wife and I were joking. What would it look like? What would it feel like if we brought in a 4th one? Trust me when I say this. We're still joking about it.
What breed are they?
They are small breeds. Small breeds. They're Shih Tzus.
I'm going to text you a Chihuahua that somebody just texted to me.
Okay.
Very cute. Very cute.
Yeah. So wow. I know we've always shared mutual interests. I didn't know it's this much. So thank you for reminding me. Ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up today's episode, I'm going to share a few minutes from our sponsor today. So just 1 second here. Our sponsor today, ladies and gentlemen, is Planet Home Lending. And in the spirit of MB Health Law, when and if and who you may know who's either an attorney or a healthcare professional who needs help financing their real estate purchase, please consider Planet Home Lending. We will get you home. And so with that, Mindy, let me bring you back into focus here. One last question. This is kind of personal now, but I think you might answer it because we know each other well enough. What is your go-to song, music, when you need to get into your zone?
Okay. Much to the dismay of my children, I have to say, that is Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf.
Ah, and courtesy of that song.
It's the best.
It is the best.
It is the best song ever.
And let me guess, it gets your motor running.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, it
How
should.
can it not? You can hear the beat in there.
Exactly. And by the way, since I used to play drums when I was in high school, I love rhythm. I love the beat of something. That's always the first thing.
Oh my God, Bill! I did not know that about you, but there's a visual. I did not know that you were playing drums in high school. Okay, I'm picturing that now.
The more you're getting to know about me, right?
Yes. All good though.
All good. All right.
But that's a visual. You playing the drums. Okay.
So, audience members, I hope you've enjoyed this episode today where my friend, my connection, attorney Melinda Malecki has been kind enough to share her time with me, with us. Mindy, as we wrap up, let's do this. Let's wave a nice goodbye to all of our audience members. And I appreciate you sharing your time with me today, okay?
Thank you. Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome.
Okay, talk with you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.